Have you ever wondered why one person can see a tiny heartbeat at 6 weeks, while someone else sees almost nothing, even when they are supposedly the same number of weeks pregnant? That's one of the big questions we hear every day. The truth is, every early pregnancy ultrasound can vary much more than most people realize. In this video, we're walking you through exactly what you can expect to see from weeks 4 through 13, including some milestones that completely surprise first-time parents. And make sure you stay until the end, because weeks 11 through 13 are when many parents say, "Wow, that actually looks like my baby." Now, before we begin, I want to mention something that's very important. Every pregnancy is unique. The exact timing of what can be seen varies from person to person. Factors like ovulation, implantation timing, body type, uterine position, and the quality of the ultrasound equipment all play a role. So if your experience looks a little different from someone else's, that doesn't automatically mean something's wrong. Remember, every pregnancy becomes visible on ultrasound at its own pace, and your healthcare provider is always the best source of guidance in your individual situation. Before we get to the weeks where you'll see tiny hands and feet, let's start where every pregnancy begins, around week 4. Pregnancy is still incredibly early. At this point, many women have just missed their period or recently received a positive pregnancy test. The embryo is microscopic. Many people won't actually see a baby yet because it simply isn't developed enough to be visualized at all. Sometimes, depending on timing, an ultrasound may not show anything other than a thickened uterine lining. That's completely normal. This is one reason why expectations are so important during these earliest weeks. Week 5 introduces the very first thing parents hope to see, but it's probably not what you're expecting. By approximately week 5, the first structure that may become visible is the gestational sac, a little dark circle, if you will. Think of it as the baby's little home. It's usually the earliest sign of pregnancy that can be identified on ultrasound. Depending on the exact dating of the pregnancy, the gestational sac may still be very, very small. Sometimes you may also begin to see a tiny yolk sac developing inside. Again, not every pregnancy follows the exact same timeline, at least not visibly. Even being off by just a few days can make a significant difference in what appears on the screen. This is the week many parents anxiously wait for. Week 6 is when things often become much more exciting. The embryo begins developing rapidly. In many pregnancies, you may begin seeing a tiny fetal pole. The fetal pole is a tiny white dot attached to the yolk sac, which looks like a little white Cheerio-looking structure. This often resembles an engagement ring. The baby is the diamond. One of the most emotional moments for many parents is seeing cardiac activity begin. It's amazing to think that something so incredibly tiny is already growing and developing at such an incredible pace. Even though your baby measures only a few millimeters, enormous changes are happening every single day. Fun fact, did you know embryos grow at the rate of 1 millimeter a day throughout the first trimester? It doesn't sound like much, but it adds up quick. By week 7, the embryo continues growing rapidly. The shape becomes easier to recognize. The heartbeat is often more apparent. Parents are usually surprised by just how much development occurs in only 1 week. This is one of the reasons early pregnancy feels like things are changing almost overnight. Now, this is where everything starts changing dramatically. Around week 8, your baby is beginning to look much more recognizable. The head becomes larger relative to the body, and tiny arm and leg buds continue developing. I call this the gummy bear stage. Movement may even begin, although it's often too subtle for mom to feel. On ultrasound, many parents begin saying, "Wow, it actually looks like a little baby." Week 9 continues this incredible period of growth. Facial features continue forming, the body becomes much more proportionate, even though the head is about 1/3 of the whole baby. Little movements become more common, and every ultrasound appointment during this stage can reveal noticeable differences compared to just a week earlier. By week 10, your baby has changed so much that many parents can't believe it's only been a few weeks since that positive pregnancy test. By week 10, your baby has reached an exciting milestone. Most major organs have formed. The fingers and toes are becoming much more distinct. The overall appearance is becoming much more baby-like, at least in 2D. Parents often find this stage especially reassuring because development has progressed so dramatically since those earliest weeks. One of the biggest sources of anxiety comes from comparing ultrasound pictures online. This can be so misleading. Here are just a few reasons scans may differ. different ultrasound machines, different sonographers, different body types, different scanning methods, slight differences in ovulation timing, variations in embryo position, variations in uterine shape, and perhaps most importantly, different pregnancies simply become visible at slightly different rates. That's why comparing your ultrasound with someone else's often creates unnecessary worry. Your healthcare provider interprets your diagnostic results within the context of your own pregnancy. Now, I'd like to pause a moment and talk about something we get asked almost every day: why we perform abdominal ultrasounds only. Here at Reveal Ultrasound, we are an elective, non-diagnostic ultrasound studio. That means we perform abdominal ultrasounds only. We do not perform internal or vaginal ultrasounds in an elective setting. Many people are surprised to learn that during the earliest weeks of pregnancy, especially through about the 10th week, medical providers often obtain the clearest images using internal ultrasound because the pregnancy is still very small. However, with nearly 20 years of diagnostic experience and state-of-the-art ultrasound equipment, I'm often able to visualize much more through an abdominal scan than many parents expect. Every pregnancy is different, so we always set realistic expectations before your appointment. Some babies are easier to see than others depending on factors like gestational age, baby's position, mom's anatomy, and many other variables. Our goal is to always provide the best experience possible while staying within the scope of an elective ultrasound. Now we reach one of the most exciting periods of early pregnancy. Between weeks 11 and 13, your baby undergoes another remarkable transformation. The head becomes more proportional, the arms and legs are longer, hands and feet are well developed. Your baby is moving much more frequently, even though you may not feel those movements just yet. Many babies are stretching, kicking, rolling, and waving. Sometimes they'll even seem camera shy and turn away from the ultrasound probe. But your baby doesn't know they're being looked at. You're just catching a glimpse of them in real time, doing what they do, whether you're looking at them or not. Each appointment is unique, which is part of what makes these moments so memorable. By the end of the first trimester, it's incredible to compare where everything started just a few weeks earlier. From a microscopic collection of cells to a tiny baby with recognizable features, the amount of growth is nothing short of amazing. One of the biggest takeaways from today's video is this: ultrasound is not about comparing your pregnancy to someone else's. Every pregnancy becomes visible on its own timeline. Sometimes you'll see more than you expect. Sometimes you'll see a little less because of timing, baby's position, or other perfectly normal factors. Patience is so important. The early weeks involve tremendous changes that happen incredibly fast. If your ultrasound experience differs from someone else's, that doesn't necessarily mean anything is wrong. Every pregnancy tells its own story. Watching your baby grow from week 4 through week 13 is one of life's most incredible journeys. Whether you're seeing a tiny gestational sac, an early heartbeat, or an active little baby waving on the screen, every milestone represents another amazing step in your pregnancy. We hope this overview has helped you understand what you may expect during these exciting early weeks. And if you're planning an elective ultrasound with us, remember that while we perform abdominal scans only, our experience and advanced ultrasound technology often allow us to capture wonderful images throughout early pregnancy. See the resources pinned in the first comment below. You'll find additional information that can help answer many common questions and help you prepare for your ultrasound experience. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with another expectant parent who may be wondering what happens during those exciting first weeks of pregnancy. We truly look forward to being a part of your family's journey. I can't wait to show you your baby's face. Please subscribe.